Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cellar Edition 20 Big 2-0. We've got some great things planned for this episode. Jose is going to join me very shortly, and we're going to go visit Dave down at Launceston Distillery, bring out some amazing Launceston Distillery bottles for the cellar, have a look around the distillery there, and have a chat to a great friend of the house. That's going to be a lot of fun. Also later on, we're going to head downstairs, have a look at a few new products that have come in, which is going to be super duper exciting, chat about upcoming tastings. But before we get into all of that, just for Cellar Edition number 20, we've made 10 very, very special gold Casa de Vinos tasting packs, always normally in the red wax with just the brown label on them, but these ones are very special, and they're in gold as a little celebration of the Cellar Edition 20. But not just the look of them. The whiskies inside are absolutely exceptional, and we've done the pack at a very, very approachable price, given the whiskies that are in there as a bit of a celebration. And thank you for coming along on 20 Cellars. So the whiskies that are in this beautiful Casa de Vinos Cellar Edition 20 pack are a Zanzibar Bunnahabhain 11-year-old, absolutely stunning, big, heavy sherry. An artist bottling, if you don't mind, the Ben Rines over 15 years old, single cask Glendronach, a beautiful Lechaid from Spirit Shop Selection, and a 24-year-old Secret Speyside. If you know, you know. It's an absolutely stellar tasting pack, one well worth getting your hands on and trying with. There's enough there to try with some mates, to be honest, but maybe you just want to keep it all for yourself. We are very lucky to have a little look around the Launceston Distillery today and chat everything that's going down there and a bit about these few bottles. How are you, Dave?
Good. How you doing, boys? Good to see you.
Good.
Good, mate. Thanks for joining for this special edition of the 20th edition of the Cellar.
Hey, no, thank you, boys, for featuring our little brand. As you're saying, yeah, it's been a good year. Last year that's just passed for the brand. Our distiller, Chris, is always a very modest fellow, so never likes to scream much from the hills, so to speak. But the liquid that he's been making, which has only ever been made, he only makes whiskey, doesn't like to make anything else. I suppose he's been trudging along for many years, making great quality whiskey, but it's only recently that it's decided to sort of start putting it out there and let people try it and really, get it out to the masses, so to speak. And the quality of the liquid really speaks for itself, which is part of the reason I myself even came here to work here, because of his amazing experience and previous places working at, and then obviously opening his own distillery in Launceston Distillery. Just great quality liquid. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're not doing a lot of ridiculous and over-the-top things. We're just trying to follow the Scottish method and make it, the classic way. They know what they're doing. Let's face it, they've been doing it for how long? We're just trying to follow that along and really do our own little Tasmanian version of the great quality liquid.
We're dipping our lips on the batch H17/14 of the bourbon cask, which is amazing, fruity, and
this is epic. This is so delicious.
So much vanilla forward, and caramel,
elegance.
Yeah, elegance. So tell us a bit about how many casks were on this batch.
So usually when Chris is putting it together, we're at the point now where we're just using pretty much 100-litre barrels. When we first got started, as a lot of distilleries do down in Tassie, they start with the little 20-litre bombs and bring all those together. But the first batches would form those types of casks, but then we've moved out into using more 100 litres and above, because they've all sort of hit their good maturation point of that 5 to 6 year period in Tassie. So most of our bourbon cask releases now, a majority 100-litre casks, anywhere from 3 to 4 bought together in various percentages. On average, it's around 5-year-old whiskey that we're using in our blends to put together. And we don't use that as a sales pitch or anything. As you'll see on that label, the only differentiation between those batches is the codes that we put on the back there, which is all very clear. We deliberately put that on there so people can say which batch they're from. At the distillery right now, I think we're one more batch past that one that you've got there. But every time we put it together, we're endeavouring, just like the Scots, to continue the flavour profile from batch to batch all the way through and have no variation.
Dave, if we are able to, I'd love to have a little look around the distillery today, give everyone a bit of a sneak peek of where the whiskey that they might be drinking comes from.
Absolutely. Let me flip you up. We'll go for a walk out of my little office here. So this here is our hangar. This is Hangar 17, the home of Launceston Distillery. So this is the first building built for any type of aviation in Tasmania, built in the late 1920s and operated as an airport facility all the way through until 2001. Mm-hmm. So the space itself, the last tenant was ANZ. Some people, if they're old enough, will remember that airline that went bust in 2001. And they used this space from the day they were established in 57 all the way through till 2001 when they went bust. As you can see up there, that's the last ANZ sign they had out the front of the building. There, we've got a fair bit of history here that if anyone comes to visit, we'll be able to read up and take you through all the details. Mm-hmm. Even up there, that chalkboard there, that's the very last delivery schedule. All the cargo that came through this hangar that got distributed out from ANZ flights. It's still been up there. It's National Heritage listed, so we're not allowed to change anything or alter it in any way. We'll do. These are our stills here. So these were designed by our head distiller, Chris, the shape, the style, heating mechanism, everything. And then created by Nat Lua down in Hobart. Peter Bailey made these for us. We're about number 13 in the entire production line of stills that were made locally anyway. Traditional copper pot stills, electronically heated, 400 heating rods through the bottom there, all copper pot all the way through. We use a lot of Buffalo Trace and Heaven Hill casks in our mix. These are Buffalo Trace ones all through here, Jack Daniels and things through the bottom. Sorry, it's got a few bats going. There's Jim Beam brand casks there. These are all original sizing. These aren't been recouped at all. Up on those taller vats up there, that's our most common cask size, which is 100 litre cask size that we use. This one we're just sniffing. But all through here. So full life maturation, our whiskey. We don't play around with the casks too much. We literally just fill it up as new make. We age it away, then we pick it when we think they're ready. And then when it's ready, we bring them down. Chris will bring those various flavor profiles together to create our consistent batch release that we're putting out to people. As we can see over here, Andrew's just bringing some all down now. These are all little Apera casks that he's about to dump. Oh, here we are now.
Yep. Wow. Have a look at that.
So look, that is quite dark there. You get that natural variation between casks, but then, it's all that final blending to bring it all together, which is going to get us to our style.
Yeah. So this is the next Apera batch going here, or is this?
Yes. Yeah. So our Apera batch, see, look, when you see that color there, it's not as dark as what a lot of ones are. It's all about consistency and what we're trying to put forward. So, but yeah, our Apera batch, that one that you've got there, was our last batch that we released, which was July last year. And then this one will come together. And once again, this will be probably around that July batch. And then once it's gone for the year. We're never holding Apera as our standard range, even though it's priced the same and it is packaged very similar to all the other ones. Mm-hmm. It's just not always available because the reality is the casks and what's available to market are a nightmare right now.
Right, yeah. So get your hands on the Apera when you can, is what you're saying, Dave?
Yeah, well, we've been out of Apera since September last year. So we're lucky that you guys still have some in stock because, we haven't for a long time. We have a huge amount of requests for it. It's just available when it's ready.
So if people in Melbourne want to come and try your whiskies, they can. We've got about 4 or 5 different bottles open here at Castavino's. But if they're heading down to Launceston, do you guys have like a distillery door you operate? People come and visit, that sort of thing?
Oh, 100%. We're always open for people to come down. We are right next to Launceston Airport, so you can quite literally land and be in our door in about 10 minutes with a leisurely walk along the side. This is our little cellar visit door area here, which is obviously the old ANZ seats with our aviation. People can come in. We have things available for sale through here, various merch, and this is the starting point for all our tours, which we operate every day from 10 in the morning through to 5 p.m. People can come in. We take them through. We don't charge for tours or tastings at all. It's all about people coming in and being able to experience our lovely space and whiskey.
Yeah, nice. And a sensational spot it is. And is Launceston Distillery going to be at Whiskey Abbey this year, Jose?
Yeah. At least
of course. Yeah, no, of course. We would have loved to have been there last year. It was last year, wasn't it? But yeah, the COVID restrictions in Tasmania hadn't allowed us to lift the borders and travel, fortunately, until December 15, which is just a few weeks after when you guys held. But no, we're very much looking forward to being there and being part of it.
Oh, awesome. It'll be so good to have you guys over then. So for anyone who doesn't have a Whiskey Abbey ticket but wants to get to know Dave and Launceston Distillery a bit more, you should grab one so you can. And of course, grab one of these Launceston bottles. They're absolutely sensational. And if you're ever in Launceston, go down and visit the distillery because it looks like a sensational spot.
Yeah.
So Dave, thanks so much for showing us around today, mate. It's been awesome to get a little bit of a look at everything that goes on down there at Launceston Distillery. And we're excited to keep on sharing your amazing drams here in Melbourne and visit you when we get back down.
Fabulous, guys. Thank you so much for the time. We really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you actually in a week or two when I'm down there.
Absolutely. Can't wait to see you then,
Take
Dave.
care, man.
Cheers, mate. Well, great fun having a look around the Launceston Distillery there with Dave and Jose. Just before we jump downstairs and do a little new segment we've got going on called Don't Sleep on These Bottles with James, I'd just like to chat a little bit about a few tastings we've got coming up, and we do have a few really, really exceptional ones. Almost too many to talk about in this video, so please do jump on the website, have a look. If you're watching on a Cellar, scroll on down and check out some of the amazing tastings that are happening. We've got over 6 in-store tastings, both whiskey and gin scheduled up, and some really interesting online ones, including an old and rare, and also the Zanzibar 10th anniversary celebration tasting. Jens over at Zanzibar has bottled some absolutely exceptional busks for his 10th anniversary of Zanzibar, and we are so proud to be able to showcase 5 of the great bottlings in this celebration tasting. Springbank, Jura, Glenturret, Mortlach, all high age statements and absolutely sensational bottlings. Probably, maybe for some of these drams, one of the only opportunities we'll have to try these all together. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Amazing tastings coming up. This is certainly one not to sleep on. But now for a new segment, let's head downstairs and check out some bottles that have just come in with this new Zanzibar shipment. Welcome downstairs and to Don't Sleep on These Bottles with James. Now, James, we've been getting some amazing bottles coming in the last week, a huge shipment.
Oh, we're absolutely spoilt for choice here at the moment, and we've got some amazing bits and pieces we'd love to share with you.
Yep, so Zanzibar and the Nectar have both been delivered, 2 of our biggest shipments each year. They've just come in and the shelves are absolutely overflowing with exceptional bottles of whiskey, spanning all sorts of styles. So it's going to be really exciting over the next few weeks. We're going to bring out a few more cellars and tell you guys a little bit more about everything that's coming. But for today, I thought we'd bring out a couple of bottles and chat to you about them. Particularly these ones are the ones that we know are going to be very popular and won't last too long. So for a lot of you guys that are interstate particularly, we wanted to show you these ones so you have the opportunity to snaffle one up while you can. What's the first one that you thought we'd bring out, James?
Beautiful. So we'll start off with a 25-year-old Tobermory.
Nice.
We're not stuffing around here, are we? No. So beautiful amount of age on it. Tobermory is one of those distilleries, does so well with a bit of age, often overlooked given its proximity to Islay, but this is absolutely exceptional. Bourbon hogshead, cask strength, 25 years old, and the spirit is still strong as ever.
You had a little try of this one yesterday. What did you reckon?
I've had a couple of tries of this one, I've got to be honest. I'm maybe putting a bottle aside for myself just between you, me, and the cellar.
Got a little bit of fruit to it as well, which is delicious. And I mean, we don't see a lot of these higher age statement IB Tobermories, but I think we're going to start seeing a few more. So
certainly hope
this would be a great one to add to the collection. The other one that I thought would be a really good one to show everyone is this beautiful Zanzibar 9-year-old Ben Nevis for Finest Whiskey Berlin. We know in Australia, we're all massive Ben Nevis fans. For whatever reason, it just seems to be a distillery that really permeates down under that we all love. These younger ones often have those really beautiful fruity tones. This one has got a little bit of that with also some of these above ground grass and hay sort of notes. And anytime you can get yourself a really beautiful single cask young Ben Nevis for under $200, it's a great opportunity. And we know from history that these ones fly out the door.
Do not hang around. And at a good price as well, as you mentioned.
Yeah. So, got another one there for me, James?
Always.
Lovely.
So we had first one that we went through was bourbon hoggy, so we should probably move to a sherry butt next.
Yeah.
We've got something, a Rudmore, which is peated Glenturret,
Glenturret, yeah.
for those playing at home. 11 years old, and it is something different, like a different take on a sherry whiskey. If you like your funky style of whiskies, a little bit less sweet, umami, herbaceous, just a really, really fascinating whiskey and something to really sit down and unpack and enjoy.
Absolutely. One of those really interested peated components for blends or for distillery bottlings there at Glen Turret. And it's one for those people who like the Croft Engineers, the Leche, the interesting peated components of these big distilleries. This is going to be one well worth getting and added to the collection. One last little one that I thought was very interesting, and another distillery that we love in Australia, and that's Ben Riach, particularly in these big, heavy sherry casks. Another beautiful single cask whiskey from Zanzibar, bottled for their Christmas edition. Another one, under $200, great whiskey.
Phenomenal value.
Showing beautifully at the moment. One that I don't think will last too long either. But we've got hundreds of them, literally, products that have just come in, which are going to be amazing for everyone to try. Over the next couple of weeks, we're probably going to do a couple of sellers. Probably once a week, just so we can start showing you guys some of these amazing products. If you're local in Victoria, do pop in, come see James downstairs. He'll take you through some of these beautiful whiskies. If you're interstate, make sure you check out the online store because we're going to start putting up some of these beautiful whiskies over the coming days. James, that's all for Cellar Edition 20. It's been a great one.
Oh, it's fantastic. Thank you, mate.
No worries. Looking forward to having you in a few more cellars coming up. And
My
looking
pleasure.
forward to seeing everybody for the Cellar Edition 21.
We'll see you all next time.
Happy days.